What's going down, people? It's your boy Meyer Crawl, host of Here for the Dads podcast. I don't even know what episode we're on. This is season 3, and I got a long lost friend, back with me again. I haven't seen you in quite some time, brother. Like, we played ball back at the academy together. We kind of catch up with each other in like bits and pieces, like once every other year. You already know it's kind of hard to do once you start having a family and stuff. But what I want to do is I want to pass this mic over to you and allow you to introduce yourself, and let's start catching up with it.
Yeah, dude. Thank you for having me. Very good to see you, my friend, and excited to hear about everything you're up to and just have a good old genuine conversation. My name is Chris. Last name Nurthen. I perform as the artist Sweetener, and I had that name for a long time. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I have a family of 5 right now. My wife and I live in Memphis, Tennessee, trying to make a way, as I say, with our kids and just trying to pursue this passion and trying to make a career out of songwriting and the craft that was written on my heart. And we just work together as a team to steward this family through, the American way, I guess.
There we go. We say family of 5. Are you saying like I got 5 kids, or we are a family of 5? Like, where you at right now?
We have 3 kids, and my wife has number 4 on the way in January.
Oh, there we go. Clap it up. Wish I knew how to
Yeah,
do like the studio thing where I can press like the claps. And so I'll just push it on right
That's
there.
next level. That's next level.
I know, man. Do you know if y'all having a boy or girl?
We're having a girl. After this baby girl arrives, we'll have 3 girls and 1 boy. I'm very thankful. I got my buddy. I will say, I'll be honest, I was kind of hoping for another boy so we could have, 2 girls, 2 boys. Obviously that's just perfect, but hey, we'll see what God has in store for us and what he's up to with these plans in the Nurthen family,
I wish I could just text God, because
me
and him, we have not been seeing like eye to eye, bro. In high school, for some reason,
what are you talking about?
I just want a girl. Like, I just want a girl. That's all I was saying. I want a girl. Dude, I got 4 boys. He had a plan for me, and I forgot to just shoot him a text like, "Hey, Dad, like, can you let me know what's going down?" And to be honest with you, probably, and this is, I guess we're going more spiritual. I'm going to go ahead and take that route. But honestly, about a couple years ago, before I even had my first kid, I was speaking to one of my mentors, and I was meeting one of his friends. We were in Tennessee, actually. I don't remember if we were in Memphis or not. But we had a really deep conversation. And essentially, I told him, I was like, hey, I have been having these visions. Like, I just have this feel that God is going to put me in a place where I'm supposed to lead men. And the issue is, I don't know to where. I don't know what men. I know I don't have football anymore. I don't know if they're talking about me staying in the Navy 20 years. And 6 years later, I got 4 boys. So there we go. And I think that's exactly what I'm talking about.
I was going to ask you, 6 years later, and your boys are now, how old are they?
So I got a 5-year-old that'll be 6 in January. The twins just turned 1 yesterday on the 1st. Was that yesterday? Well, they turned 1 on Sunday. And then I have a 2-year-old who'll be 3 by the end of the month. So
5 years later, 4 boys. You originally always thought you wanted a girl. You tell me, what do you think God's doing? Why is he doing this to you? What's been revealed to you in the last 5 years, to answer your question?
I think I always wanted to be in control, and I thought me being in control was going to be the better answer or the better plan. And essentially, he was like, hey, I already have something. What you need to do is trust me a little bit. He was like, you got some things that you need to pass down. And not only that, there's some things that I need to mirror in you so that you can fix those things. Because that's exactly what my kids are doing. They've become mirrors for me and allowing me to change and work a few things in my life. And I thank God for it, man.
Man, I will say, I think one of the most important first steps to parenting is having a full psychoanalysis of yourself. Like, the more you understand yourself in a deep level, the more you will be prepared to raise your kids, because they're, half you, half your wife. But if you can start to understand the steps you take and why you take them, you can get a step ahead of your kids, because they're going to do what you do. They're wired your way. So the better you understand yourself, the better prepared you are to teach your kids, because they're you.
Yeah, how did you feel on that path? Like, did you feel like you got a chance to really break down who Chris was It even feels weird calling you Chris. I just gotta call you Nurthen. But did you feel like you got a chance to break down who you were before having kids?
uh, I just think it's an ongoing project. You are never going to fully. Every time I think I know myself, I'm like rudely awakened. God's like, yeah, right. Because
Yeah.
pride is a very destructive sin, and it'll just deceive you and think you know what you're doing, and then hopefully you're drawn near in your faith and constantly praying, and He'll reveal to you that there's still a lot to learn. Parenting, I think, marriage and parenting is the most humbling, truly humbling, not like this fake humble news that people talk. I hate. That's probably the most abused, misused word today. Is just go on
Yes.
LinkedIn and just check. Everyone's humbled by the awards they're getting, and it's like whatever. But it's truly humbling because you just you stick your foot in your mouth. It's humbling as a son because I was a know-it-all with my family and my parents, and as soon as I, accomplished some things at the academy and I was like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I can figure this thing out. I thought, I obviously know more than my mom and dad do. And I was a dumbest thing, it's just so ignorant. And I think about things my parents warned me of that I was just like, yeah, right, I'll figure that out. And I just like watch it get slapped me in the face every day. So in a way, it's humbling as a son. I owe a lot of respect. I have more and more respect for my parents with every day I'm raising kids. And then, again, you get angry at your kids or like, you get annoyed with them or irritated. You just got to look in the mirror. Like every time my wife and I are aggravated with them, you're like, I have to admit there's no other, they're only studying us. So like all they're doing is repeating what they're seeing. And so if we have a problem with our kids, it's probably an inward problem that we have to, look in the mirror.
It's always bad too. Like you never want to look at the wife or be like, they're like, where did they get that from? You do that. Well, my wife does it to me all the time. The main thing is
she does.
Oh, bro, because I say it all the time. Like, hey, like, why would he even do that? Like, where does he get that from? And she's just like,
no, wait a minute. It's not fair because they're all boys, so it's easy to think it's coming from the dad. But if you dive in there and really, it's behavioral stuff. It's half. Mm-hmm. It's half your wife. There's no doubt about it, and she can accept it. Yeah. But like that, like if you know who you are, like Meyer knows that, like as a football player, the kind of personality, the kind of character, the behavioral triggers you have, like them, and you will see them immediately in your children, or you might not. And if it's not what you do, it's your wife. Unless there's somebody else, it's like it's one or the other.
She just denies it though. She's just like, no.
Yeah.
But it's always like,
oh that. Man,
it's always like that. Is there any one of the kids that you would say is most like you growing up, or like who you are now?
Yeah, it's also really cool. I think kids are every single time a perfect 50-50. And it's always, you think, oh, Josie just did something I did. She's so like me. And then she'll go around and do something that's exactly like Carrie. And if you really like divvy it all up, it's a perfect split every time. It's incredible. Yes, it's like fascinating. It's a perfect split. So I see a lot of tendencies that Josie, my oldest is Josephine, and I see some personality tendencies. I think she's very curious. She really is into stories. And like, there's two types of people like who watch movies. Like if I watch a movie, I to get glued to it. I can't fall asleep. I got to finish the movie. I got to finish the show. I love it. I'm like mesmerized by the screen. My wife, it's a sleeping pill. Like anything, you put the best Oscar nominated movies on there, and she's like, "Oh, this is nice," and then, out. Yes. So my point is, Josie is glued to a screen. She really thinks about what she's watching and performances and the craft. And I hear her picking up on song lyrics. We'll be playing the music just casually, and did they just say this? And what does that mean? Like she's just thinking about those things, and that certainly come from me. But then she's a mini mom. Like she's incredibly selfless and cautious and serving to her siblings and us. Like she's a perfect split. My son is definitely like rambunctious and just, I call him the cutest domestic terrorist you'll ever meet, because like he's just like a sweet little boy, but he's just a total boy, and so he loves to fight. He's 3.
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
So we got boy, girl, boy. No, sorry, girl, boy, girl, and then we have another girl coming. And then Gwen, our youngest is still figuring her out. She doesn't look like any of us. We can't, she has her just very her
Mm.
own unique fingerprint. But
It's gonna be fun, bro.
yeah,
I'm trying to tell you already. I can tell. I'm about to say they
yeah,
just got his own thing going. That's how we feel about the twins. Is like we don't really know what they're doing, how they're doing it. They just got
man,
their own.
twins are such a dynamic, man. That's such a whole different ball game, whole other animal. I mean,
Oh
there's
yeah, it's
so many questions.
full court press
I
all the.
mean, yeah,
I'm
and
even
they're
in
one.
basketball. I've never even played.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, no, they're 1 years old. They're at the phase where they like just started walking. So one is walking all the time, and the other one's like extremely lazy. He's like, I just rather you pick me up. But it's kind of like a pinky in the brain type thing, though, which is really funny. Is the one who is not walking? He's like who we might quote unquote call the smart one, right? He always
yeah,
manipulates the way to get whatever he
yeah,
wants. He'll fake cry
yeah.
when the 2-year-old takes something. Then the other one's like, I'm just gonna fall down the stairs and bump my head on this, find a piece of cheese on the floor, and I'll eat it. That's kind of like how their dynamic is, but it's so much fun, bro. Like I
It is.
love the dynamic of fatherhood where it's like there's so many challenges and things that we just didn't know and we're learning on the way. But then there's so much fun stuff, like the conversations that we can have and like the things that you wouldn't even think of that the kids do. It's
Hmm.
incredible. Like, have you found fatherhood to kind of be the same thing for you? Were you expecting it to look the way it looks for you right now?
It's a dream. Like I think you and I could certainly connect on this. We're not just paying lip service to it. I think God definitely wrote this dream on our hearts to be parents, and I definitely think I was born to be a father because it just pulls in my heart like crazy. Like I think like I call it two dreams. I think God wrote me. I want to be. I love to write music. It is where my instinct is. It's where I certainly have a passion to create songs, and then I have the exact same level of passion in my children and raising these kids. And like lots of times they clash, and it's hard to balance both of those two dreams. I call it like a tortured soul. But to
Yeah.
answer your question, yeah, I think it is like I call life. I call these. I call marriage and family and raising children as a beautiful struggle. It's just like it's a struggle, but it's just like the most fascinating, rewarding. It's the hardest thing we'll ever do if we can get to our 40-year anniversary and look back like, damn, like it's just such an accomplishment because it is the hardest thing. You're not just, it's not like X's and O's where you get to get in the end zone here, do these plays. It's like you got to mess with people, you have people's emotional intelligence there. There's people, it's not just about like, the honeymoon phase. Like you really have to pick your battles and maintain a healthy partnership for a lifetime. And like businesses don't do that. You know, there's think about the greatest teams we've seen play, like or the bands that stuck together for the longest time. They are the rare form. Like that's the
Absolutely.
1%. So to a cup, it's I love it. It's the greatest challenge. It's like I embrace it. It is like tough as it sucks a lot, but I just
Yeah.
it's such a
But
good
it's
suck.
great.
It's such a good suck.
And it's like I
Yeah.
can tell you like to like you're a creator. Like you like writing things. I've never seen you take the easy way out. Like you said, like this is the biggest, best challenge that you could ever write. Like if you want
Mm-hmm.
to see what production looks like, if you want a long term game, if you want something that's not easy and that also changes all the time, like it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
dynamic all the time. You could probably look at your life right now, back only 2 to 3 years, and everything was different. 2 to 3 years before that, everything was different. 2 to 3 years before that, everything was different. So it's like the only thing that you could really expect to happen is for things to change and that you're going to have to change with it. And it's like not
Mm-hmm.
always easy to do, but as a father, as a parent, as a husband, as a wife, like you have to figure those things out, not only for yourself, but for your kids. But I want to go back a little bit because you mentioned like the tortured soul. And that was something I was thinking about on my drive over here because I always feel guilty, man. Just like leaving the house, trying to figure out what I want to do, figure out my own hobbies, kind of like living your own dream. I think that's something that a lot of parents altogether, I mean, we're talking about fathers here, but parents altogether, once you have kids, it's just like second nature. I wouldn't even call it nature because it's not, I don't think it's nature, but naturally we feel like we have to let go of the dream or we have to like just pull and just all everything into the kids when essentially we need to continue to fuel ourselves in order to be able to fill them up. I love what you're doing, and I would love to hear more of your perspective on why you go hard for your dream and for your kids, how you're able to do that. I just want the people to hear that. Talk to me, man.
Well, I think you're hitting it on the nose, and I think it's maintaining a balance. It's all we're trying to do here is maintaining a balance of self love and a balance of selfless love. Where like you have to, if you want to be a father, it's going to naturally happen. Where you, it's why it's the most beautiful thing ever. Because well, let's walk backwards to why this is why it's divine. That's why it's biblical. It's why it's supposed to be this way. Is that you get married and you feel it's the truest first test of laying your life down for somebody else. Like it's the first time you have to officially commit, put everything aside and commit your life to somebody else. And you have children, and it just enhances that grind and that humility of thinking outside of yourself, not thinking less of yourself, just thinking of yourself less. And that said, you have to really check. It's like I think our society is like pressuring everyone to find like their passion, and pressuring everyone to find, make a business of something, whatever. And it's really good, but I do think you need to dive deep and really understand, what do you want? Like, what is it that is on your heart? And I check myself every day because I'm like, this is really a huge struggle, like trying to do the stuff I'm trying to do and be a present father. It's really hard. That's like the hardest thing this entire way so far has been balancing the work and life. And I'm lucky and easily, it's clearly a blessing and divine intervention from God. But I was blessed with a partner, my wife Carrie, that is just a super champion of marriage and her role in this, and she's just incredible at that. And then it's just, I continuously just pray that God allows this. That's it. Like, as he continues to allow this, I think it's always an open conversation with him. Like, make it obvious, slam the door shut so loud I have to go a different direction. But he doesn't. He just keeps little baby steps. And I'm not gaining the ground as quick as I want to gain it. Like I'm not famous. I don't want to be famous, but I'm not like, at the top of the game that I want to be at. But if in hindsight, like there is so much progress being made, so many base hits being hit, and foundation that like something beautiful is happening here. It's forming, it's evolving every time. And all I do is just keep asking that question. I'm just always in a conversation with God and trying to remain with him every step of the way. And I fail at that a lot. But my point is I always come back, like he just continues to allow this to happen, where it's just, I just won't believe otherwise until it's so clear. And it's just, I don't know, long-winded answer. I'm all over the place, but
that was perfect. And I mean, I love that you said you continue to check, like, because we talk about things changing all the time, and you got to know where your priorities are too, and like understanding that you have a relationship with God and continue to have that conversation with him. It's going to be clear when he says, "Hey, it's time to take another route." And it may not be easy to do, but you've been following and trusting him for so long. When it's time to do that, you'll understand and you'll trust him. It's just not going to be easy, but you'll understand and you trust him. And I also like that you said, like, hey, I might not be necessarily where I want to be or where I thought, I don't think you said where I thought I would be, but you didn't say like I'm super famous or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But for a family, it's all about the milestones, the goals, and the steps. Because let's say all of a sudden, like you go super viral, next thing you know, you're on CNN and super famous. Maybe the family and you aren't ready for that. God's going to put you exactly where you need to be when you need to be
exactly. There. I think there's plenty of lots of times you want to wonder, maybe God's protecting you from something, like, and I mean it when I say I don't want to be famous. And I know that's just, again, not just saying that. It's not about, for me, I just really want to be a craftsman of this. I really want to be a master of songwriting. And for many different reasons, but like I really just want to be regarded as that guy's good at what he does. And like, that will bring us a healthy business, that will provide for us. I don't want our family to go through any of that. That's just not, and that's total. That's not. I understand you need that. That's kind of marketing. From a business perspective, you need that publicity, you need that exposure, and but there's two different things here. Like there's people who are just famous because they're famous, but there's people who are famous because they're very good at the craft. If that fame happens, fine. But I want to be regarded as the best in the, in what he does. But you're hitting a lot of good points. Like when I check myself, I also always check my job. What's my role? Like what's God commanded me to do? Okay. I have taken a step to serve my wife and to serve my family. And I always make sure that before I'm pursuing my things, my pursuit of passion, they're taken care of. So like, we're still in the Navy. We still have medical benefits from the Navy. I'm a mortgage lender. Like we have income, we have stability. That's the balance. Is like I never want to get reckless, and that's like always. I want to do this smartly. I want to, this is a life's work. I'm not in any rush to get to where I want to be. It's a passion. It's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, no matter what. We're going to do our best. We're going to drive at it the best we can, as fast as we can, as hard as we can, but with the family taken care of first. And that's what I want to show my kids. It's for them. I want to present to them an example that you can be a responsible, loving, stern, fair father and husband and pursue your passion. I'm hoping it all works out where like, we can live a comfortable, cush life doing something like that. But we also, we're disciplined to make sure there's other, factors. Like we have the Navy to take, to give us that life too. We have real estate to give us that life too, or whatever, we have trajectory, we have plans to be okay. And that's what I think God will bless that. I think God will honor you honoring him. Mm-hmm. I think if I was like, F everything, full steam, I'm gone. I'm sorry, family. You have to understand this is my passion. Like, I just got to go do this. Yeah. I probably would get somewhere really fast. I probably would get to that goal, but then I come home and it would be so distant. My wife would hate me. Oh. My kids wouldn't know me. You know what I mean? Even know. So I don't know, just trying to always check myself for I'm obeying God, period, Man,
that's so important. And do you have a relationship with your father?
Yeah.
Awesome. Is this something that you all kind of speak about too, or have you ever taken any tips? Like, I'm just loving it. And I think about like, even like starting this podcast, talking about fatherhood and things that I'm taking on. And it's no knock to my dad or anything, but it's bits and pieces that I'm picking up from other people, things that I'm seeing online, what I'm hearing out of the Bible. Like I constantly find myself searching for, hey, what is the guidance? Like, what should I be doing? How do I make this work the way that I feel like it should? And me and my father, we just don't have that type of relationship. Maybe we could, maybe it will happen. Maybe I'm just like, I just haven't asked the question or anything like that. But I've seen that a lot in other guys that I speak to. They kind of do the same thing.
My dad and I are close, and he was a great father, but no, we didn't know. I think one of the hardest things I learned going to the Naval Academy and being surrounded by like exceptional leaders and like real excellence, true excellence. It kind of, rocked my kind of cracked my dad's shell in my head. Like before in high school, I'm thinking like, yeah, that guy, he knows everything. He's the dude with the answer, etc., which is fine. And I learned the hard way that he wasn't, and that's okay. Like at first, maybe that made me angry, like or like it just confused me emotionally. Of what
it'd be confusing.
And I had my own path to take in terms of like having grace and understanding of my dad and trying to understand where he came from. And it came from parenting too. Like as I got further along and as a father, I started to really understand some of the things my dad did or didn't do. Yeah. And I would have to owe a tremendous amount of credit to my parents for the foundation of character I have. But the polishing of that and the evolving of that character and the harnessing of like, where we're at today is like Navy football, the fleet. I don't know. Our network is genuine excellence. Like I think we're just surrounded. Iron sharpens iron, like we saw, and a lot of bad. Like I saw some bad leaders too, but I think we have been like thrown into the fire as in the Navy, and you won't. You either die or come out stronger. And I think there's just a different. We are biased, you and I, and our friends, but I can't. I owe a lot of credit to the furnace on a ship at sea, and like I don't know, we are just forced to really figure ourselves out and grow up, and then you're hungry for it. And then the second thing is like you and I both are seeking wisdom and knowledge and understanding. I know you are,
Absolutely.
and I think that's a prayer I've always had. Like, I just, if you're in the church, if you're just intimate with God and in his word and trying to, I don't know, figure it out, he will bless you with that wisdom and that knowledge and understanding with people, enter a pastor into your life, enter an uncle, enter a young life, youth coach, whatever, a football coach that you needed. He knows, like, Meyer needs this man in his life. And it's nothing, no shot at your dad. Everyone has their own roles in Meyer's life, all by God's timing. Like, if you believe in his sovereignty, every single second, every step of the way has to be planned and authored by him. So, like, there's a reason your dad is that way, because you needed to find it somewhere else. And there's a reason, who knows, like you're saying, you may finally hit you where something speaks to you where you're ready to ask your dad that question, which I think is really hard. I really haven't had, I think we have gotten a little bit closer in faith together, real subtly, but still a long way. And I've also kind of given up on I've given up on like trying to evangelize my dad or something like that. Again, a younger me would come home, guns blazing, like, y'all need to pray. And
That's on fire, Chris, right there. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Here's how we got to do things. And I realized, like, shut up, dude. Like, that's, and I'm ashamed of it. I'm again, parenting, fatherhood just humbles you. It's like, now I just want to like go hide and like, just shut up, Chris. Like, I just want to stop talking,
It's like we all learn, like, fatherhood will literally pull that veil back and you get like a greater perspective. When before that, even before marriage, like, it was literally just you. You can kind of see around everything that you're taking in, everything you're on fire for, all the motivations that you have, you're just spewing it out to people. Like, hey, you should fix this, you should change this. This type of person that I'm going to be. I'm taking in the good leadership, pushing out the bad. And then you get a spouse, right? And now you have somebody else. And at first you're like, okay, I need a fix. So wait, it doesn't fix like that. Okay, this person's different. Whoa, you're fixing me? Like, hold on, what do you mean? This is wrong with me?
I'm
like,
good.
Yeah, I'm good. You don't turn the faucet on before you turn the shower head on? Like, what are you doing? And then you have kids, and you take this huge step back where you realize, it's like, okay, now I can see how my wife is. Now I understand a little bit more of why my parents dealt with certain situations the way they did. Now I understand my friend who had kids 3 years before I did and why they are the way they are. It is like the ultimate like veil removal, putting yourself in that position. And you look back at yourself like, wow, okay. That's where you kind of get like a little bit of shame. I can't believe I was doing this or saying that. But we all learn from it, man. It's a beautiful place. And it makes me understand and see my Bible different too when I'm thinking about fatherhood. Because now this is a different type of love that I'm experiencing that I had never experienced before. Like, God is the ultimate love. Like, he has so many different types of love just smashed this one, and I'll never be able to encompass that. I'll never be able to feel it. But it's now I get to be, as a father, to experience another type of love that he experiences. And when I'm reading it, I'm just like, God, I get it. I understand. Like, I don't know if I get it all the way, but I feel it different.
And that's what earlier I was saying. Like, that's why I genuinely believe that's why it's biblical. It's why it's, you get married. That's why you raise kids. This is part of the process. It's the only way you're going to get closer. And I don't say that insensitively. I understand that, like, it's not, you can't just go get married. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that would love to be married or love to have kids, and they can't. Sometimes, we have a lot of friends and family that struggle to have children. I understand how, like, I don't know, I shouldn't say lucky, but how blessed we have been, and why, like, I'm very grateful for my family and how kind of easy it's been for me to stumble upon Carrie, and then like stumble into 3 kids. I can always say, like, I'm just stumbling into just gold, and I swear it's only because I just kept a relationship with God. Like, I think he's just faithful. He's just faithful every time. And I do want to be careful saying that, because I don't mean that if that's not an explanation to why some people aren't married or don't have kids. But like,
it doesn't mean
I
like
just
you
think
get everything you want, right?
No, not at all. And so I don't know. It's still complex, and I don't want to know why. I just got to trust and believe in it. And he just has continued to provide, and never in the way I thought he would. it's funny. You wanted a girl. Like I remember writing. I wrote the song Josephine in calculus class at school, and before I even knew Carrie, didn't even know.
Wow.
I was literally daydreaming about raising a girl,
Wow.
and I don't know. I think I wrote that, and then met Carrie like a year later. Years later, we had our first child. It was a girl. She liked the name Josephine, and like part of that song was like, I think I'll name you Josephine after my mother or whatever. And then I say, I see you dancing full of joy with your brother. And then we had a boy, and like I'm telling you, like in the living room, I'm watching that song is like coming to life, and it was just a prayer. I just was praying, and he's like, "Yeah, you got it." I just think he will answer your prayers, but in
Bro.
no way, shape, or form you thought he would answer them.
Dude, I have chills right now, like
Yeah.
literally going down my arm, just thinking about that because me and my siblings talk about all the time the prayers that we pray before that you don't sometimes recognize you're sitting in or standing in right now. Or somebody praying for you, like grandma, even before you were born, just laying it down, and now you're walking in those. And sometimes we have those visions, sometimes these are questions, sometimes these are things given to us, so we don't even recognize it. And it's just so beautiful for you to look back and be like, man, this is what's in front of me right now. Like, I'm so grateful and appreciative
Yeah.
of everything I have. And to know that you're
God's
like,
timing.
God's timing. And another
It's
thing you talked
perfect.
about that I heard today was like income versus impact. And in everything you're doing, you're not searching and just like striding, going for the income. You're going for the impact in your family. You're going for the impact on people. You want to be a master of the craft that you're doing. You want to be a master father. All that stuff is strong. And like it's not an
Mm-hmm.
easy thing to do. I just love it. I'm glad we're getting a chance to talk because that's really how I live my life, bro. Even in
I
cooking.
know.
You know, when I get on there and cooking, I want to know what's the best way to get the garlic into the pan. Is it first? Is it last? Do I chop it? Do I press it? Do I mince it? Like I want to do everything that I care about the most. I want to do it the right way, and I want to learn.
Yeah, and I was excited to come on here because I know you, Meyer. Like we don't get to talk much, but I know we have a lot of similarities and a lot of parallels to the way our brain works, and you recognizing the same thing I recognize in you. So I'm just, I was looking forward to just having this rich conversation.
Yeah, man. I know we're gonna get a chance to talk again soon. We were like, man, we gotta get. I was like, I want to get this done. Like, I want to get in there mainly because like I'm super excited about just a few things you've posted. I'm going to allow you to talk. A few things you've posted. I've got a chance to hear you with my own ears for many years, but now seeing you just kind of step into this thing where you're jumping from location to location and knowing that you're going to be back here very soon where I get to share with other people what I've been holding so dearly to. Can you talk to me about that? What you got going on? What you got going on, man?
Well, we're doing our house show tour, and how I try to again get the impact versus the income is I try to have a really effective way for listeners to experience my music. And what I do is we have a food truck. My wife and I took a horse trailer, we converted it into a food trailer, and we make something called iron pies. We take 2 pieces of bread, and we call them flavor blasts. And we take these crazy concoctions of sweet or savory or sometimes both, press them between 2 pie irons and between 2 pieces of bread, and get them roasted golden brown for a sweet or savory flavor blast. And we serve those up. So we come to your home. We're not coming to Myers' house this time, but we could come to Myers. Myers like, yo, I'm having a house show. I come, we serve up the food, and then I put on a show. So like that's what we've been doing in Memphis for the last year or so. And it's always been on my plans and visions to take it on the road. I want to take this house show, and we're doing a quick micro tour in October to really try all this thing out. And we're going to Annapolis, we're going to Philly, and we're going to Virginia Beach on October 21st. So we're literally leaving tomorrow. Today's
Wow.
Tuesday, and we got the whole van packed up. And this is going back to where I like what you said about income versus impact, because we want to have an impactful marketing here. I want to have like impactful exposure to my music. I want you to walk away like, dude, that guy was good. I liked his music. I could stomach that guy. He didn't sing too bad. I liked some of his songs, and that food was delicious. His
Oh
wife's really
yeah.
cool. His family's all around. You're getting front row seat to Chris Nurthen in his life, and that's what we want. Want that experience to be memorable, and walk away with some really good followers. We want if we can get 10 people that really clung on to what we're doing in our mission, that's good. It's better than like 1,000 people that kind of know you, but like, so, and then on top of that, my kid, we're bringing the family. I'm not doing this without them, and we're going to figure out a way. So we're bringing the kids, and they're going to be there, and we got the band coming, and there's a lot of moving parts. It's a tremendous challenge, but we have a lot of logistics, but we're trained for this. We're built for it.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
taking all my Navy training, and I'm just applying it to what I want to do. And I think it's like the most liberating feeling, and excuse me, but just trying to make a way smartly with the family. So we're coming to Annapolis this October 7th, Saturday after the Navy game. Come on over to the Annapolis Town Center, put on a show there. And then we're going to go to Philly the next weekend, October 14th, and then Bob Beach on the 21st. And we come and close back here at Memphis in November. So Godspeed.
There we go. That's awesome, bro. I'm so hyped, dog. Like, I wish we got a chance to like do things. That's what happens. The military, we are all over the place. You get bits and pieces. But like, I just remember sitting as a young buck at the talent show at the beginning of football season and just watching you pull that guitar out. And I'm just like, oh, like this dude's like actually talented. Like this dude can like really sing for real. And to now see so many years later, I get a chance to come down. I get my first stationing here in Norfolk, and I was like just scrolling, and I saw you post. I was like, hey, we got to go to the food market. They got this thing, like Chris got this stuff, like the iron, like all this stuff. And then a couple years later, now there's kids, beautiful family, and to see it all come together and back around,
Yeah, man.
bro, I'm so excited. And I want every single person watching this right now. Like, you are in the Hampton Roads area. You gotta get there. I'm thinking about, I'm gonna reach out to all my fatherhood peeps who are here in the community, bro. We gotta get there. It's a chance to meet this guy, meet his family, shake hands, have a good time, eat something good.
Yeah.
Just enjoy your time, man. This is gonna be a great time. I'm not gonna hold you from the family any longer, bro. If anything, tell the people how they can find you.
Thank you, bro. Sweetener Music. So my college nickname, speaking of when I was back in my talent show days, I don't know. We were like, I had my brother there. We were Big Nur, Lil Nur. Like Nur was like our nickname, and then it kind of evolved to like Sweetener because I just was like playing music a lot, and I don't know, it just was like I don't know, but took that name, and that's kind of how our artist that's became our brand name for everything, and I love it because like I love the marketing side of Sweetener. Like if you need a little sweetener in your life, put a little sweetener in your coffee, kind of thing. Lead it into that. So SWEETNUR Music. You can find me at Sweetener Music on all socials. You can find Sweetener on your listening platforms, sweetenermusic.com. Hit me up. Yeah, dude.
Awesome. Thanks for watching. You just listened to Here for the Dads podcast with Meyer Crawl. I am so grateful that you're here. But if you're new to this space, what I need you to do is slow down and subscribe, share, review, or rate. Whatever you can to help me out, because I'm on a journey to create a space for existing fathers and new fathers that's going to allow them to be a little bit more confident and a little bit more efficient at what they're doing. Thank you.